I'm actually a really big Churchill fan.
Oh, really?
But I'm not a big Nazi fan, so I guess it kind of makes it easy. Boom, watch fan. What is up, Watch Fam? I am Christian, the curator of the Theo and Harris Watch Shop, and today I'm going to be telling you guys another fantastic, Rolex, piece of Rolex history. World War II, Winston Churchill, one of the greatest victories of mankind ever, and how Hans Wilsdorf and Rolex, the most genius marketing company maybe ever, was able to kind of ride the coattails, piggyback on this tremendous victory for Churchill. So I'm wearing a Cartier. I forgot to wear Rolex. I should have. Michael's wearing a Rolex though. On the Oscar strap. It's really beautiful. We just added a whole new collection of handmade American straps to our strap shop. Wow, this is breaking in really, really nicely, dude. I knew it would, but this is really, really beautiful. Anyway, this is our Oscar strap. We have a couple other ones, the Rex and the Mojave. And anyway, if you're in the market for a new handmade watch strap, head on over to the Theo and Harris strap shop. I have personally kind of designed and curated the whole collection. It's a lot of fun for me. I love it. I love watch straps. I bought this watch fairly recently. I believe actually like a week before COVID hit. I'm going to do a full video on this watch very soon and how incredible it is. And there's so much to talk about. So make sure you hit the subscribe button to our channel and especially the bell, which will alert you when this video comes out. And don't forget, because we are giving away a Rolex in just a couple of weeks, it's going to be very important that you subscribe and hit that bell so you, one, are eligible to win, and two, know if you win. Because if you don't claim your prize, we are going to pick someone else and give it to them. So, all right, let's get into Rolex. Okay, let's set the stage here with Rolex. This is not the first time, and we'll tell you the whole story, but this is not the first time that Rolex has been able to weave itself into history. Rolex always seems to be at the right place in the right time, right? Think about, on the wrist of Sir Edmund Hillary when he climbed to the summit of Mount Everest. Think about, dwelling in the Mariana Trench with James Cameron, Pussy Galore even. Rolex always seemed to be in the right place at the right time. It's almost impossible to write history, some of the greatest moments of history, at least in culture, without referencing Rolex. You've got Jack Nicklaus and the Masters. You've just got so many important figures, presidents, Martin Luther King Jr. wearing their Rolexes when they delivered incredibly important speeches or made remarkable accomplishments. But this one is particularly interesting, for me very compelling, and it's one you might have not already known. So let's get into it. So as we know, in the 1930s and 40s, the Nazis were present, and they were horrible, and their reach was ceaselessly expanding, but there were great people that led the opposition. The Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, Mr. Winston Churchill, among them. He categorically rejected, denied a possibility of a peace settlement with the Nazis, which I believe at the time was supposed to be brokered by Mussolini. Obviously, that would have been a disaster. He would have sooner died than trusted Hitler. He spat in the face of this, genocidal scum. One of his greatest and most inspiring moments as we look back into history was his speech after the miracle at Dunkirk, which, if you will indulge me just for a second, we shall fight in France, we shall fight on the sea and the oceans, we shall fight with the growing confidence and growing strength in the air. We shall defend our island, whatever the cost may be. We shall fight on the beaches, we shall fight on the landing grounds, we shall fight in the fields and in the streets, we shall fight in the hills, we shall never surrender, and even if, which I do not for a moment believe, the island or a large part of it were subjugated and starving, then our empire beyond the seas, armed and guarded by the British fleet, would carry on the struggle until, in God's good time, the new world, with all of its power and might, steps forth to the rescue and the liberation of the old. That is just one of the most incredible and kind of chilling speeches of all time. Again, in the darkest of days, this man absolutely still saw the light. The light came in 1945 when the Nazis were in fact defeated. And 3 years after 1945, in 1948, Hans Wilsdorf, the founder of Rolex, managed to figure out a way to weave his brand, Rolex, into this incredible story of victory and strength and freedom. He gifted Winston Churchill the 100,000th certified chronometer manufactured by Rolex, which is just absolutely genius. He sent him a letter requesting that he would have the privilege of having Churchill accept this watch, and Churchill did accept. He accepted a Rolex Datejust in 18 karat gold on a Jubilee bracelet. In the letter, it says in rose color, so it could have been a rose gold Datejust. I cannot confirm that. That is what he requested. I've seen conflicting information on the internet what ended up actually being delivered, but he also did ask for another specification that was his family's coat of arms. This is a fantastic watch, an incredible piece of history. For me, this is far more important than Paul Newman's Paul Newman. No offense to Paul Newman or his Paul Newman. It's more important than Marlon Brando's, GMT. This is fucking Churchill, ladies and gentlemen. This is an incredible, incredible watch, which perfectly represents the Rolex message, right? This is the solid gold Rolex, the watch that is supposed to represent success and power, right? Globally, and it's on the wrist of one of the most powerful men, in the world, in celebration of the greatest victory in modern history. It's a perfect story. And to add to Wilsdorf's brilliance, he never actually really told the story. He was never actually used as direct marketing ploy. Of course, Wilsdorf knew that at one point, this would get through the grapevine and the world would find out that Churchill was wearing this watch and that it was a gift. He knew that, but it wasn't just a, kind of influencer marketing, collaboration where, hey, I'm going to give you a watch on YouTube, all that stuff today. It's how it's done. This was at least seemingly, such a genuine gift that makes the story, in my opinion, all the more special. As we mentioned before, this is not the first time that Rolex ended up in the center of the story. And this is not the first time that Hans Wilsdorf gave a gift of Rolexes out. I believe that even Jack Nicklaus didn't buy his watch. He was able to pick out of the whole Rolex collection whatever he wanted, which is just brilliant marketing. Wilsdorf is basically saying, hey, here's our whole collection. Anything you want is yours. I just want one of our pieces on your wrist, and they're great, and you deserve one. Forever weaving greatness and the Rolex brand. And as we know today, look at the craze in the Rolex world. Look at how unbelievably difficult it is to get one. It worked, right? Even a simple Submariner has become an incredible luxury watch that no one can get. The people are paying premiums larger than the actual retail price. Retail's $9,500. They're selling for $18,000, $20,000, $25,000. It's crazy. But is it just because of the watch? Or is it because moments like these, moments where Hans Wilsdorf, this absolute genius, not just in watchmaking, but in marketing, decided to invest in what he knew would ultimately be historical greatness? It's unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. I love this story. I love Winston Churchill. Thank you all so much for watching. Do not forget that we are actually giving away a Rolex. See, I'm taking a cue from Hans Wilsdorf, we actually are giving away a Rolex when we hit 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, so go ahead and subscribe to our channel. If you want to double your likelihood of winning, follow me on Instagram at Christian Zerone, and don't forget to fill out the form down below. I think that we'll probably be getting out the Rolex in the next couple of weeks. It's fantastic. It's a beautiful 1601, one of my absolute favorite watches. That's it. Subscribe to our channel if you love watches, and I'll see you all soon.